I might be going down a rabbit trail with all these horrible, horrible CW Batwoman episodes, and they're just awful. Like, I probably about maybe 3-4 months ago, I did a whole debunking breakdown of every single of the first episode, maybe the second episode, but I did this first episode twice. It was just horrible. I only ironically watch Batwoman on EFAP as they make fun of it. So, and one of the characters that I had an idea of, well, what if we made one of the villains actually competent? Okay, with it. So let's just go ahead and create a competent villain here. Okay, so on episode 3, there's this quote unquote Riddler knockoff. I don't think he's the actual Riddler, because if he is, that's a Batman villain. But actually, Batman villain, I don't know. So they hint it, but they don't really go anywhere else with it. It's just like, boom, he's done, he moves on, but he's not the Riddler, and it's weird. It really is weird. So what I'd like to do is play with that. What if we created a competent... So the goal, let's create our objectives today, because we always got to start with our objectives. Objectives. Our first objective is to create a... Oh, that's too small. Let's say 18. There we go. Create a competent... How do you spell competent? I'm using my trusty little external brain pack, as my father says. Competent? Competent. Gotcha. Okay. So competent. Create a competent Riddler villain. Now, actually, I don't want to create a Riddler villain, because that I am not in the mood to do any of the the mini puzzles a good Riddler villain can be. But we can create a really good, just a really good villain, a really competent, rich villain. Yeah. Someone who... See, now, here's something, is that if he's going to be competent, he also has to have depth. So, good and bad flaws, depth. So, good and bad flaws, but ends justify means a bit. And then the next one is, and the last one is, so we have a competent, rich villain, and being rich is not the reason why he's a villain. He happens to have resources as a rich person. That's one major thing that I usually get pissed off about. It's like, oh, he's rich, therefore he's evil. It's like, what? So depth. So he has good and bad flaws, but the ends justify the means a bit. His reasons, his motivation is power. Okay, what if his motivation is power? It's as simple as claiming power, but motivation is power, but he isn't dumb. He has power for a reason. He has power for a reason, because he's competent. So I think I want to reiterate how important it is that he's legitimately competent. So because he's competent. Okay, I'm spelling this incorrectly. Shouldn't be a period there, but we're gonna go with it anyways. So we can move this a little bit. Let's change the color here. So when I drag and drop, transparent section, there we go. And then we could, with this entire section, we can boop, boop, boop. There we go. Hopefully that's legible. And we can move this out a little bit. Move it out right here. Wait, we got this. Oh, we got this. Right there. Okay. And then we can move this just a little bit further up, so we now have a little bit more space to write in. And draw. So we have to have Batwoman, the actress. We're going to do a circle. We're not going to fill it. No fill. There we go. So we got to have Batwoman. Okay, she's gonna have her squealy. Oh, what am I doing? Black hair, black face thingy. Outline. There we go. I had to select the. Gotcha. And then she has all this red hair and stuff. I'm actually a fan of the red hair. There's a lot of people who may be kind of like turned off by it, but in the movie Bad Blood, I think it was actually phenomenal. I think it was Bad Blood where it's the same plot of the first episode in Batwoman in the CW Batwoman, but Batwoman in that show is actually competent, and she messes up a lot, and she's not trying to be Batman. It's such a better show, a standalone movie. I think it's phenomenal. So we have Batwoman, and then we're gonna give her some lesbian boobs because that's important. So here's a boob, and then here's a boob. Look at that. We gotta make them uneven. There we go. And then we gotta give her lesbian shoulders. Why do they have to be lesbian shoulders? Boom! Look at those lesbian shoulders. One's gonna be a little bit longer than the other, but it's gonna be a stubbier arm. There we go. There we go. We gotta get lesbian it up, and then we gotta put the big capital L right here, big gigantic L. So we're gonna go boop, 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 boop. There we go. L for lesbian because the show just so hits it on the nose. Every single episode, I'm gay. It's like that's not the point. Gosh. Oh, the CW Batwoman is so horrible. Gosh, I could do so much better. And that's not a compliment to me. That's a compliment to anybody. Anybody could do better. Gosh. Okay. I even made a first narrative. You can probably check it out on my website, on my YouTube channel. I did create a new first episode for the Batwoman. She's still she's actually in a very healthy relationship, just like in Bad Bloods. And the point is, it's not all about the gay. She's in a relationship, and it's in the background because the most important part is her overcoming the challenges and strife in her life that every single person has. A relationship with her father that she wants to that she doesn't want to reconcile, but realizes that family and fatherhood is amazing, so on and so forth. It's like, oh, we got some villains. Oh, they're too powerful, and then I have to run away, which may kick myself in the butt in my ego and stuff. It's like that's the most important part of any single show. So what we got to do is create the villain. We got to give him a big circle for a question mark. Is there a question mark? No, there's not a question mark, but we can make a question mark. So we're going to make this 72. And then we're going to big... that's it? Really? Okay, boom. Right there. The Riddler! Actually, I have a pretty good idea. And then we're going to create a little... We're going to do this. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to give this guy a circle. Yep. Oh, I love that. Let's do it right here. Okay, I know this is taking a little bit of time, but I think I'm going somewhere with this. I like where this is going. So we're going to delete that. We're going to delete some of this, and then we're going to take this and put it right there as it looks like he's wearing a hat. Oh, that looks amazing. So we have... It looks like a leprechaun. He's a leprechaun. Oh, that is so cool. Yep. So we got... This actually does look like Kate Kane, and so we got Batwoman, the Riddler. So what? Okay, let's go ahead and go with the Riddler. I don't want to do the Riddler because the Riddler, a good Riddler. Let's do the Riddler. Okay, a good Riddler, from what I like, from what I enjoy about the Riddler, is that he is on Batman's level. He's always been a joke in almost every single rendition I've ever seen, animated, or even comic books, movies, live action. Riddler has been a freaking joke. But the great thing about the Riddler is that he is on the Joker's level. Joker never has a plan, but he does have a plan. He's like the Joker, but instead of just being like, oh, always keep you guessing of like what his intent is, Riddler is very upfront with like, this is my intent and here's the puzzle. So you have to solve the problem, but the problem is all cerebral. It's not about it's not necessarily a visceral one, because he's having a challenge of the minds with Batman, whom he, with the Riddler, is the one of the only people, at least in Gotham, is able to challenge the Riddler. Riddler is a very potent person, a very potent villain that no one I've ever seen got it right, and it's okay. So let's create one. Let's create a competent. Well, let's move this back down to 18. Oh man. Okay, let's do that. 18 competent Riddler. Okay, I was gonna just say rich person, but let's just do a competent Riddler. Because that actually, and that's I'm gonna do select, delete, shrink this a little bit. A competent Riddler. So with the Riddler, what are some things that we can create? So let's assume that he's going out through Gotham, and there's let's go ahead and fill this so we can actually create like a city skyline right here. So there's city after city, and here's a city. Here's a city. There's a city. Here's a building. There's a building. There's one over here. Something over here. Something right there. Something or whatever. And then there's one right here. Okay, so we have the entire Gotham sort of. One more right there, and then a few in the front. There we go. There's Gotham. So with Gotham, one of the biggest things that you could do, or at least what I've seen with the Riddler, is that he has with, I think it was the Batman. It was the legitimate children's rendition. Maybe like the teen version, calling him the Batman, animated TV show. I think it had like 5 seasons. And the Riddler in that one, again, he was kind of a joke. He was very weak. He played off and did like, oh, I'm so smart. But what if we created him where he knew he had an ego, but he always kept himself in check, because that is what would be very important in playing a game of chess with the one person that could challenge him, Batman. So if he was having the same type of plot where there were multiple... here we go. Let's make the size a little bit smaller. So, it's too small. We'll go ahead and do that, and then fill, no fill. So it's like, what if there was one location, like a bomb over here, a bomb over here, and a bomb right here, and Batman had to go through everywhere to figure out where those bombs would be laid. Let's create Batman. So he has a red, black, fill him in. Yeah, solid color with black. And then we're going to give him some pointy ears. There we go. Batman. Copy, paste. Oh. Batman. Oh, there we go. Batman. That looks like Batman. That is amazing. And then we're going to give him some very awesome looking eyes. Yeah, look at that. It looks amazing. Copy, paste. Oh, that's not what I want. Dang it. Okay, well, let's do it the other way. Wait, why isn't it showing it? Boo. Yeah, so I want to copy. Oh, let's take away the transparent. Copy, paste. Flip, rotate. 180? No. Flip horizontally. There we go. And then we're going to put this right here. Boom. Holy crap. Does that not look like Batman? That's Batman. So we got Kate Kane, Batwoman. We got the Riddler and Batman. And you could have it where Batman... wait, I don't know why I drew Batman. Oh, no, that was the reason. Okay, so let's go ahead and get everything back to the way that it was, so I can do a drawing tool. Okay, now it needs to be thicker. Right there. Okay, so we have Batman. So Riddler is wanting to play with Batman, but Batman is no more. He's not in this storyline. Batman went off somewhere. He's saving a kitten in the tree or something, trying to save Superman from Krypton or something. I don't know. And Riddler comes to Gotham and tries to play with Batman to bring him out, and Kate Kane comes to fill in. Now, something that would be really cool for Kate Kane, Batwoman, for her development, her character within within Gotham, is that the Riddler brings out some very tempting tools or riddles in a few places all around. Maybe a few of the quote-unquote bombs actually go off that Batman could have easily diffused because it was more of a come out and play, Batman, I'm ready to play. Come out and play, I'm ready to whatever it would be a rhyme as. What would be a word for play? Day? Oh, it's no longer day, Batman, come out and play. So you could probably do something like that. And he's maybe on an intercom, or maybe like having a few or hacked, because he's a very intelligent. The Joker, Riddler, because he's incredibly intelligent, he can hide, because he's a phenomenal programmer. He's a hacker. He's able to hijack any and all speakers throughout the entire area that's connected to a Wi-Fi device, which is pretty much almost everything. And then he has in unison every single phone in Gotham that says, "It's no longer day, Batman. Come out and play," something like that. And Batwoman has to be like, holy crap, I don't know what's going on. What's happening? She goes in here and tries to figure it out. So she takes the place of Batman. And Riddler realizes that, oh wait, you're not this guy. So this isn't going to work. I'm not playing around or something. And then the Riddler gives her a very, very an easy thing that would an easy riddle that Batman could solve, because he is a detective. That's his original profession, is he was a detective. But Kate Kane is not, and trying to fill in the role of Batman. So as an issue happens within Gotham, it's a very simple riddle that Batman could have solved. Batwoman is not able to solve it, or she's able to do it at the skin of her teeth because of like everybody in. I don't know, maybe she gets like help from everybody, or she literally just gets lucky. Capital L for lucky. So maybe she gets lucky and solves it because it's maybe a multiple choice option, but the option is like A or B, and you have to choose one, or like one building will be destroyed or the other one will be drowned, or it's like, how can it be drowned? Like maybe there's or it'll be dropped into the harbor. And it's just like because there's a device underneath that will actually crumble it to make it slide into the harbor or something. It's like, well, why would you do that? And what she chooses to do is neither. And the question, the riddle could have been, hey, you have to pick A or B that will go into the river that's right here. So into the river, into the harbor. And what she does is that because she doesn't know the answer, she probably gets flustered and doesn't answer it, while Batman would have understood it is a trick question because you don't want to choose either A or B. Therefore, none of them go into the harbor. None of them are destroyed. And that's one of the things of like you have to choose either A or B, and you got to think about which one would be the dummy device while the other one will be saved. And it's just a very simple riddle like that. And when Batwoman, that's actually pretty freaking good. Again, I'd love to get this into a little bit more textual form. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's make this 11. And Batwoman, Riddler challenges Batman. Batman is a no-show, and Batwoman fills in. Batwoman fills in. Riddler goes on ahead with the plan and gives her the A, B, Riddler riddle. There is no right answer, and she gets lucky choosing neither. Excuse me. Choosing neither. Okay, that's actually pretty much where we are right now. So she gets lucky choosing neither. So at this point, this could probably be, if we were going with maybe we could do a little short film. So maybe for the first 30 minutes, that's probably too much of a stretch. Maybe you could get this into like a 10-15 minute episode. So this is probably the first quarter of it, maybe the first third. But we're just going to say 1. Let's just give this a number 1. 1. Okay. So we give this a 1. This is the first part. So Riddler challenges Batman. Batman is a no-show and Batwoman fills in. Maybe you actually have in this one where maybe there's an introduction to... Oh, let's not do a fill-in. No fill-in? There we go. Maybe with Batwoman... let's go ahead and do the draw on him. With Batwoman, maybe we need to give an introduction to Batwoman. Maybe her plot through the entire story, because maybe this isn't the episode 1. Maybe this is episode 3 or 4 or 5. Maybe episode 5. So let's go ahead and say that there have been things along the way, and Batwoman maybe has been finding a little bit more and more success, and Batwoman has now finding out that she is completely outmatched. And then this episode, the objective, again creating a very competent Riddler, is that Riddler will win. Riddler will win. But the way that he wins is that he gets annoyed. He gets, what happens when a child is overcompetent? No one can play with him on his level. He just leaves. And that's what happens. It's like, it's not that he's done. It's not that it's like he got away with everything. He literally just wanted to play with Batman because Batman's the only one that can actually play with him. But Batwoman is out of his league, and then out of his league, or the other way around. Riddler is out of Batwoman's league, and Riddler just gets away with it. So let's go ahead with that. So there's going to be a section where Riddler, this could be number 4 or something. Maybe there's something in between, but ending black. Wait. You should be red. Why aren't you red? What? Okay, let's do it again. And there we go. That's weird. Ending. Riddler. We're gonna do this. Riddler gets tired and bored from Kate Kane. Oh, okay. The alarm was to get me to start recording and doing a video. So hey, I'm glad I'm doing it early. So let me go ahead and change that to 7. I like to do the 24-hour timeline. I'm not a fan of AM PM, but I know if I have to communicate with somebody, just like that. Okay. We'll go ahead and change this into not 7, but 1700 5. Okay, thank you for waiting. So Batwoman, Riddler gets tired and bored from Kate Kane. Batwoman, we have to add an S there because that's just weird. Kate Kane's Batwoman. Ah, dang it. Nah. Okay, let me do that again. Riddler. Freaking A, man. Oh, I need to find a better app or something, because while I'm typing, it's like, that's what I wanted to do. Oh, that was so, Okay, so Riddler, Riddler. Riddler gets tired and annoyed and bored by Kate Kane's Batwoman. Failures. She isn't on the same playing field as Batman. The only opponent Riddler deems worthy of a challenger. Riddler wins and simply moves on, dismantling all puzzles and keeping them for later. Yeah. Maybe he revamps them at a different time because he realizes, oh, all these things were a little bit premature. Maybe I could have revamped this idea, this idea, this idea, this idea. Maybe he's more of a puzzle. Maybe Riddler, instead of just doing like with rhymes or questions of like the one riddle is like, my brother always tells the truth. I always tell the truth. My brother always tells lies. And then it's like no. Which one is it? My brother always tells truths. And then the other brother says, my brother always tells lies. So it's a contradiction. It's like those type of riddles. It's the riddle is interesting, but maybe choices that have a, I don't know. See, I'm not a good fan. I'm not a fan of riddles, but I love puzzles. So maybe, well, again, it's okay. See, now I'm kind of in a crosshairs. I'm trying to make the Riddler what I want him to be, rather than trying to make Riddler the best Riddler he can be. And if he's going to be the best Riddler, I think one of the things of like the A/B riddle of, well, choose one or the other. Well, they're both false. There is no correct answer. You're supposed to allow it to fail. And by allowing like the clock to run out, there is no option that's been selected, and nothing happens, which is, yeah. So it's like you're expected to press a button or something. So Riddler wins and simply moves on, dismantling all puzzles and keeping them for later. Batwoman. Batwoman has a massive defeat and has to deal with the backlash. Backlash from failing. So how she fails, maybe is anybody hurt from her failing? I don't want there to be anybody that actually gets hurt, but maybe there's a few people that get injured. I don't want any. It's one of those situations where it's like I don't want her to be wait, come on, transparent. There we go. So maybe we can make this into second or third one, but the introduction of the show can be number one. So introduction to episode or show. So basic motivations. What's the theme for the day? What are our characters trying to do? Maybe she takes down a bad guy successfully, or maybe a few criminals the way that she does, maybe using guns. Maybe they're non-lethal guns and just using rubber bullets or something. Maybe not hollow points. Hollow points explode. It's not that hollow points. If I understand correctly, hollow point bullets are not incendiary rounds that actually explode. They are hollow points, which means that they when once impacted and penetrated, the bullet shrapnel shoots around everywhere, so it really messes the person up. So it's maybe literally having rubber bullets, or maybe each one has a small impact taser on it. So if it hits you, maybe it's like a small shock that jerks you a little bit, including the impact of the bullet. So maybe that's something that she's trying to develop. Oh, okay. Testing out her new ammo taser rubber bullets. So that's actually pretty cool of a concept, because she, compared to Batman, actually uses guns. But she may have used actual ammunition at some point in her, maybe the first or second episode, realized that's not going to work. Maybe she saw some of the consequences in, because I'm now thinking that this is episode 5. So if this is now episode 5, episode 5, The Phantom Menace. Actually, episode 5 would be, dang it, what's the order? A New Hope, The Jedi Strikes Back. I don't know what the Last Jedi. Gumbo Creation. I don't know. I always go back to Gumbo. Gumby. So an introduction to the episode, she's testing out her new ammo, taser rubber bullets. And she's more of a combat-oriented person, but she doesn't use hand-to-hand combat, where Batman does, and Batman punches them to an oblivion. It's one of the best scenes. It's incredibly just in and out of a comment, but it shows the ridiculousness of who and or what Batman is and does. In the second Batman, The Dark Knight, with Christian Bale, I think, is his name, the actor, and Morgan Freeman. I think those are the two actors. One of the employees at Wayne Enterprises finds all the schematics to, spoiler alert, finds all the schematics to Batman's gadgetry, weapons, vehicle, all in weapons and development in one of their special hidden departments. He goes to Lucius, who is Morgan Freeman, who's at the building, at the office, and he says, like, what are we gonna do when the public finds out that your kid, or whatever he says, and like his noble boy, is out there fighting crime? Or what will happen to the company if everybody figures that out? And he says, I want $1 million or something every single month for the rest of my life, and something else. And it's like, Lucius just relaxed and all kind and just, like, oh, this is weird. And he says to him with a smirk on his face with puzzlement, like, so what you're saying is, your boss, one of the most powerful, wealthy, well-connected men in Gotham, is out there every single night, punching bad guys with his bare fists to a bloody pulp, and your plan is to blackmail him? Good luck. It's just like a mic drop moment. It was amazing. Like, good luck. Like, he's not worried. He's not worried about Batman. He's not worried about Bruce Wayne. I think he actually showed sincere remorse and concern, care for the person who was trying to do that and try to blackmail him. And the employee, is dumbfounded, puzzled, and a little bit frightened, if not peeing in his pants right now. He grabs the stuff and it's like, I'm just gonna, shred this information. And he just walks right out. And Lucius just continues on reading the newspaper. It was such a badass moment. And that is how you make great script. That's how you make a great character. Lucius, it's not even just about Lucius. Lucius is a side character. In this episode, it's not about how powerful Lucius is. It's about how powerful Batman is, and the ridiculousness of I don't know, because it doesn't make Lucius like an amazing person. It's one of those, it develops Lucius, I guess, in such a phenomenal way of like, okay, like, if you really want to go down this path, good luck. Like, he's not even concerned. Oh, it was so amazing. I'd love to see something like that with Batwoman. So maybe in this episode, maybe at the very beginning, because again, she realizes in maybe episodes 1 through 4, maybe the second episode, that using actual bullets to defeat bad guys, I got some loose paper. There we go. To actually shoot at criminals causes actual devastation, because the other guys will shoot back or something. Or if they know that their life is literally in peril, they might act psychologically a little bit more concerned. Just a little bit more or something. Like, if you use tasers, like if you shoot like a guy in the kneecap, and then the guy literally bleeds out and she can't do anything, like picks him up and tries to go, or like hails a taxi or something, or hails like, hey, I need an Uber here, get this guy to the hospital. It's like, and then maybe she experienced that in the second episode, and she's trying to improve her tactic. And that would be something amazing I'd love to see from her, is that she's actually taken into consideration of what she is doing and the consequences of her own actions. So Batwoman actually cares about the people. Maybe she doesn't even care about the criminals. Maybe they actually do deserve worse, and she actually does believe that. Again, she's not Batman, and she should not be compared to Batman when she's trying to do something different. like, she isn't Batman, but she may be picking up some principles that Batman has, or is trying to follow in his footsteps, but it's very difficult. So she's trying different tactics, doesn't have the special equipment or resources and finances, and maybe because she's from the military, is a veteran in special forces or something. Maybe she was a sniper, or special recon, or maybe she did some intelligence work. Maybe she was a little bit of a spy or something. That would be a very interesting thing. I'd love to see, like, she being a legitimate spy, and she had some tactical experience and was a sniper. You know how much of a rap sheet you would have, and how effective you would be if you combined all three of those in a very competent, well-to-do person? That would be awesome. I'd love to see Kate Kane do that. Kate Kane, realizing the consequences of her actions, starts developing and testing new ammo, taser rubber bullets for the common criminals that she's fighting. But then she realizes that Riddler comes to town, and oh man, this is amazing of a story. And then Riddler, maybe halfway through the episode, I don't want to say halfway through the episode, but maybe right after, oh yeah, that's actually really good. So, right after, what is it? Yeah, right after, taking down a criminal, a violent criminal, with her safe bullets successfully, bringing him to the police. Dang it. Oh my gosh. I want to strangle a child. Like, gosh. Oh my gosh. It's not that much of an issue. It's like, oh, you want to strangle a child? Yes. I want to strangle a billy goat, because they're considered kids. I made it funny. Violence. It's hilarious. You can make fun of anything. I said just the right context matters. Also, a lot of beer and alcohol helps too. So, Batwoman, let me get that, woman successfully detains a violent criminal. I'm going to say street criminal, because that's context. Street criminal. A street criminal using her safe bullets, or safer bullets. They're still, like, hurtful. They hurt. Safer bullets. Right after her detaining the guy, she overhears with her phone and the guy's phone. Oh, this is gonna be kind of cool. Guy's phone hearing the Riddler's message to Batman. That would be awesome. Okay, so now there you go. So it's pretty much technically like a between 1 and 2 that this can be all considered not episode 1, but the first part of the show. And see, now you have a lot of context going here, and I'm really grateful of where we're going with this, because let's do this. Okay, so Batwoman is actually a competent, caring person that's trying to take down, or trying to live up to Batman's standards, or trying to fill a need that Gotham doesn't have anymore. So she steps in and tries to do what Batman had, like, just that gaping hole. That was a weird terminology. That there's a massive hole in Gotham that Batman had been filling, and then Kate Kane, Batwoman, has now trying to do stuff within the streets to maybe curb some criminal activities, or to make the world a better place. And it may not be as so black and white. Maybe there's not a criminal activity every single day. Maybe it's not Chicago. But what if it is Chicago? Why would people want to continue living in Chicago? Well, the issue is that people are living in fear, and it's very difficult to get out of there. It's like, that's just what I'm thinking. And it's like that's just what you got to do. You got to protect the home in which you're living at. Like I said a few days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, a few videos ago. I think it was a few videos ago. I think it was last night's. And I said that, if there's anything that happens politically and there's a law that happens that I don't like, and it's just too difficult for me to try to change it within my city, I don't have to stay here. I can just move away. And that's one thing that major cities are actually having an issue with, is that because of how large of a city they're trying to, so on and so forth. I don't want to get too political here, but it's that attitude that I am personally, like, I don't have any ties with my neighbors. I don't have any ties with the neighborhood. I go around every single walk and pick up trash because I want to see the streets cleaner. That's one thing that I do. But if there's a policy that's put in place, is that if there's any I think a policy that's going to be putting in place on Wednesday, today is Tuesday, and where if you're not wearing your mask in public because of the Wu flu virus, the COVID thing, you're going to receive a $1,000 ticket. I went in great detail, and I was very passionate about why I disagree with that thing, with that rule. But the thing is that I am not able to fight it. Personally, who can I go and bring up during you have to stay indoors, you have to social distance? How do we get people to gather together? Because, again, there's this massive fear that's happening with the masses. So if I go and knock on a door, it's like, hey, can we go to the town hall and try to do something? One, it's politics. People don't care about it, so people don't want to do it. Two, it's social distancing, and people don't want to be around a lot of other people, so that's out. So it's very difficult to change policy right now. It really is. So if the city is doing something that I just cannot change and it's harming me more than I care to tolerate, I can just leave. And one phenomenal, and that's in my life, in the real world, but Batman is a phenomenal character, and including Kate Kane. She lives in the city. She cares about the city. She's going to fight for the city. For me personally, I can leave. Well, technically I cannot leave because of my current income and the amount of places that I actually can move to and whatever the credit score that I have. So I actually would be stuck in like right here or something. And that would suck for me. I would need to have a hero that goes out there and stops the criminals from tearing down this place, rioting over here and destroying this monument, going over here and burning down this cop car, pushing away the cops from the neighborhood, and then now everything's a criminal wasteland, and everybody's curious as to why the cops or maybe even the paramedics don't come into the place. So, again, it's one of those. That's even I would love to break down a story like that. I would love to break down a story like that. So maybe in like episode 6 or 7 or 8, maybe somewhere in like episode 13, we actually have, and I want to make a note of that because that is phenomenal. In episode, let's go ahead and just make this massive. That's what she said. Episode 13. Why 13? I don't know. I'm just making an arbitrary number. Excuse me. In episode, let's go capitalized. Episode 13. Kate Kane faces a major struggle where people are forced to stay inside because of a contaminant. Wait, is it contaminant or contaminate? Contaminated? Contuminated? a partrusion? Alright, so contaminant. No, that's correct. I was about to spell it right. Contaminant. Contaminant. Yeah, a contaminant. COVID, as for example, COVID-19. And politicians start to put out policies that are intentionally um, are harmful unintentionally, and no one is strong enough, let's just say that, strong enough to stop the encroachment, the massive overreach of their local government. And it's not that the government is trying to do these things, it's just that they're doing these things, and then why would they pull it back? It's just like they have safety, they have protection because they are government officials, and the police would be on their side compared to private citizens. So that would be like something that you could bring up into a story. So just to say it again, Kate Kane faces a major struggle where people are forced to stay inside because of a contaminant, like COVID-19, and politicians start to put out policies that are harmful unintentionally, and no one is strong enough to stop the massive overreach of their local government. Biggest issue is that, not the biggest issue, but story-wise, we get to see real people who don't have enough money to fight, don't have enough money to move. That's to move. They also don't have enough and are afraid of losing what they got, so they are afraid to stand up. And that's a very common issue. And Kate Kane, I don't know how in the world she'd be able to overcome this type of situation if this was to happen. I really don't. And it's like, well, don't bring up a problem unless you have a solution for it. And maybe a solution. Kate Kane, specifically, not Batwoman. See, that is a big issue, because now this is all about politics, and I want to try to make it as non-divisive as possible, something that's very relative to or relatable to the majority of people. That's something that I would want to have. Some you might have a little bit of division because maybe a little bit of politics, but the fact that we're actually talking about this, it will be divisive. So I'm trying to bring in like this type of topic. If you want to talk about like gun control or something, you got to make it where it'll bring in everybody. And it's like it's something that it's like, well, it's like that very topic, regardless of which side you're on, boom, you immediately create a division. You create a wall. It's like, oh, the wall, and that creates division. It's like, how would you a great way of showing the simplicity of a topic is to use a real world example. This is me just thinking. I'm not really preaching. I'm thinking aloud. Is to use a real world example that's relatable to an individual person. So maybe she goes out and tries to get people to go to their government and complain. But if they are forced inside, if they are literally forced inside and they cannot leave, or if they leave, or if they're out without a legitimate mask, they will get fined for $1,000. And if they're poor people, $1,000 is a monthly income. And if they don't pay that ticket within 2 months, they could have a warrant out for their arrest and immediately go to jail. So it's literally, you're keeping poor people in fear, and that's what I hate about fixed priced tickets. I hate that. I hate the living freaking out of them. Now, I would love to have like you have a time that you have to serve the public or something, because everybody has that time. Everybody does. Everybody has 24 hours, but not everybody has $1,000. $1,000, a rich person can just go drop it, boom, whatever, I'm gonna just keep doing it again. Or just like, okay, fine, boom, I'm gonna leave. But a poor person can't. So so maybe maybe a lot of rich people leave. See, now if this was gonna happen, this might be something of like an overarching story over maybe a month or two, that Kate Kane specifically, not just being as Batwoman, maybe she has to overcome this within her city in a season. because maybe there are too many factors for her to try to solve it, and maybe for the first 6 of the 12 episodes, I'm just throwing out numbers of a potential season, and that's how she keeps failing in the first 6 or 10. But from each of those failures, there's a spark, a small gem of success, and maybe a seed is planted for episodes 10, 11, and 12 to, like, okay, finally, because of all the failure that I've been having over the last 10 episodes or 9 episodes, I'm able to get up there, I'm able to get it going. Maybe I go out there and I have a conversation with people and it doesn't work. Maybe every single freaking door that I knock on and they slam it in my face, maybe one person actually tries to stab me when I open the door. It's like, wow, the type of people that actually live here, it makes me question why actually I would actually protect this place. It's like Batman tries to protect the city that he loves because it is his home. But maybe Kate Kane can go from door to door. Maybe that's a little bit too much, because maybe you're now dealing with something that is a little bit that is maybe too personal for an icon figure. Maybe she needs to again, if I would love to have an episode like that, like episode 13, dealing with that with like what's currently happening right now. But the question is that conducive to Kate Kane's storyline? In all honesty, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Kate Kane. There we go. So, let me think about this for a second. So, Kate Kane faces a major struggle. You see, this is something that's on Batman's level. Because I don't think I have ever had or seen a Batman episode where he's facing the issue of legitimate local government intrusion. He's always faced maybe government intrusion, but not really government intrusion. It's always been Katniss, if I have that name correctly, the organization and facility that try to make Superman clones and try to be the answer to an Justice League, because they cannot face, because if the Justice League, I love the Justice League Justice League animated series. I love it. I absolutely love it. It taught me so many valuable lessons, and I model those characters. I know I'm a bit of a dork, a bit of a nerd. I wouldn't say nerd, but I would say dork. Dork. And I wouldn't even say geek, but probably like a dork. I'd say geek, dork, dorky geek. What's a deek? A deek. A dork and a geek, and then it's a gork. If you combine the two of them, you get a dork and a gort. A geek and a dork. Okay, a deek and a gork. There we go. A deek and a gork. That would be amazing. So I probably fit within those two things. I've never, but Katniss is a facility that tried to make a contingency plans in case that ever that the Justice League went rogue. And the Justice League are always like, we are not the bad guys here. But the issue is, the government has a legitimate reason to be fearful. I always thought of them to be the villains. For the longest time, probably for like up until this very moment, I have always thought of them to be the villain. But they actually have, me saying it out loud now, they actually had a legitimate reason that if the Justice League ever went rogue, they could not stop them. See, but that's an already created story with an already developed and played out plot. How would we ever develop a storyline? I'd love to talk with Zack Snyder to creating a Batman or Justice League plot line or something of like what would be a potential or possible storyline for the Justice League, specifically with Batman on fighting a government that's over intruding. Now, not having a specific organization, a department within the government, having an issue with. There's never an issue with the American government. But if the government became too tyrannical, how would Batman overcome that? Because, again, not making it divisive. Who would be in charge? Oh, it's Donald Trump. And it's like, that's a bit too divisive. So maybe you have it in a local government where, with Kate Kane, what type of solutions or what type of problems would come about from that? Simply trying to, if the government ever went rogue, And maybe that's actually what Batman had a plan on, and Batwoman. See, I'm just spitballing here. These aren't really actually things, but maybe Batman has already created a plot, a scenario, maybe of some type of potential of whatever a local government in with Gotham of certain politicians that would either be good or bad, trying to not make them into actual, relate them to any real people in the world, trying to just say like, hey, this fictitious person is trying to do something. What am I going to be doing about it? What happens if this person uses things to tear down this one building, which is a historical landmark? Well, what Batman would do is not fight the government. He wouldn't fight the government at all, I think he would just excuse me. He would, from Batman versus Superman, he would buy out the bank. That's what he would do. Instead of trying to fight the system, a system that he believes in, instead he finds a way to be... Oh, that actually brings up a really good storyline. Okay, I know I sort of abandoned episode 5, but we're pretty much done with that one. We're sort of just moving on to episode... We're moving on to episode 13 right now. We're sort of done with this stuff at the moment. That Batman would not be someone who's fighting Gotham. He's not trying to fight Gotham. What Batman would do would be to be the intervener in a location that has a problem. He wouldn't, if I understand a little bit about where this story could go, is that, and again, we'll try to fit in Kate Kane, we'll try to fit Batwoman into this in just a moment, because maybe Batman has had a plan, a contingency plan that he had on record that he put into his Batcave that I always go back to Kate Kane, that Batwoman that found it, maybe stumbled upon it. Maybe she was trying to figure out or like explore Batman's computer and just figured out, maybe stumbled upon something, or maybe a handwritten note of some certain things, and maybe it was one word. Maybe it was a handwritten word on a piece of paper that Batman wrote, and then Kate Kane went to picked up that piece of paper with that one word, maybe like the word Oglethine. And Oglethine is the last name of some person that was trying to stop the demolition of this one orphanage or something, but the orphanage got demolished by a politician. And it is starting to work on this building, trying to demolish it, or not even just demolish it, but replace it with something of like just maybe a bordello or something. It's like, oh yeah, bordellos are amazing. Well, I'm just trying to make it into like a kid's story, or maybe into like a crack house or something. Yeah, he's evil, that politician. Okay, so with Batman, Batman was already trailing or trying to figure out this thing, and then Kate Kane comes in and actually starts solving it a little bit more. And so you actually don't have it that way. So I need to delete this entire thing. It's not about select. It's not right. Nope. There we go. We're going to delete the entire thing, and what we're going to write instead is that Batman episode... What? Oh, did I get a text? I did. Okay, I just turned on my notifications for my text. I turn them off usually, but because I have to be in communication a little bit with some people, then I have to turn it on. I check it every once in a while, but I don't like to be notified because I don't like to have a ding ding ding. I don't want to read it. That's not the thing. I'll read it whenever I possibly can. So let's go ahead and get this story in. So episode 13. Batman wrote on a piece of paper Oglestein or something, and Oglestein. We'll call him Ogleman. We'll call him Ogleman. That's a weird last name, Ogleman. Batwoman follows the trail leading to a demolished orphanage to be replaced by a casino or something. And it's like, oh my gosh. So the man who tried to stop it died from old age, the orphanage headmaster, or whatever they're called, the orphanage headmaster tried to stop it, died from old age, the orphanage headmaster. And the politician that did that has been developing projects all around Gotham. The spirit of Batman is to not fight the system, but instead overcome it with more force and power himself. So I know this is Batwoman's episode, but what I want to do here, let's bring this down a little bit more. The spirit of Batman is to not fight the system that he believes in. Justice and America. Justice and America, but instead overcome it with more force and power himself. Buying the bank. Yeah, buying the bank, because when you buy the bank, you can do the entire thing. But he doesn't want to buy the politicians. He doesn't want to take out the entire government itself. But instead, he uses the rules. Yes, uses the rules of governance to most importantly, find a way to succeed hard. So, like, when he finds a way to exploit it, he does his research. Does his research and homework. So it's like, well, what about this, this, and this? And you say, well, under the governance of this, this, and this, you cannot do it. And maybe when he does that for Batman, he can actually maybe to find a way to make certain that somebody who's trying to make another casino out of another orphanage or something, just for an example. Let's see if we can add a little bit more space to this one. Yes, we can. That's great. Okay. So in episode 13... let's go ahead and bring all this up. There we go. So, let's bring this down a little bit. Right there. Okay. I know it was a little bit quiet, but I was trying to just copy to move it a little bit. Probably, yeah, I could see a way of just moving this a little bit more. Moving that over here, and then moving this over here. Uh-oh. There we go. And then, now it's a little bit of unorthodox, so we're going to move that a little bit up higher, and then we're going to drag this all the way here. This goes up a little bit higher. And then, we're almost done here. We're almost done. Okay. Ending. There we go. So it looks a lot better. So in episode 5, we can drag this over here, which is one of the reasons why I like working in Paint, or just some copy and paste type of thing. So, and what we have is what Batwoman does may try to maybe mimic or model what Batman is doing, but for Batman to overcome trying to take down, a politician or something political, he's not trying to he doesn't ruin the value system. He's a very principled, if not the most principled person on the planet. Very principled. He does not violate his rules. And he has strong, hard rules to follow, but they're phenomenal. One, he doesn't use guns. He doesn't kill. He'll beat you to a pulp and make you go to the hospital, but he won't kill you. So he has a gray zone there. But that Batman, the way that Batman could probably overcome the situation, even though that we're actually dealing with Batwoman, even we'll get to Batwoman in a bit, but let's deal with Batman. So Batman in this scenario, because just the rules that which he follows, he would probably try to find a way to very easily, he would purchase the land and maybe make it into a national park. Oh. Okay, no, that works. Okay, Batman, well actually Bruce Wayne, because Batman cannot do this. This would be a Bruce Wayne fix, like a Kate Kane fix. But Bruce Wayne goes, because this one has already been demolished and replaced by a casino, that this would be the next orphanage or some important, very sensitive type of building like that, like maybe a museum for the not modern art, but of natural history, of science and history or something. So something that's like, well, why would you ever try to destroy that? And one of the things that Bruce Wayne can figure out is that he cannot stop the process of it being demolished. But what he can do is, after it is demolished, put in a funding for not a casino, but make it a national park that gets the attention of other people, other big businesses from other places across the pond, maybe national, international financial moguls who and entrepreneurs and capitalists and businessmen and women who can come in here and actually start businesses because of how it looks of the project that Bruce Wayne builds, this demolished place, and wants to build something like, I'd say, a national park, or maybe something that would commend to trying to think of, like, camaraderie or something. Trying to think of what the word is, but to highlight the importance and value of the business owners that are on the opposite side, or whoever they are. They could be throughout the United States. They could be international businessmen and women. It could be an Indian company. I don't really personally care. It's just that principle of, you know what? I cannot take down this politician who's coming in and trying to destroy it. Maybe. Okay, we're going to do first full circle here. We're going to go back to the very beginning. What if the Riddler is that politician tearing down things? Because as a politician, you get the most amount of power, and you get the most amount of toys to play with as well. Maybe he's just a person who's in his basement who considers himself to be the Riddler, and he isn't an actual person. Everybody just knows him as an avatar. Something like that. But at the very beginning, we talked about a rich, competent person. Well, a competent villain, a rich, competent villain could be a politician who has many, many bribes and lobbyists who are going for his vote, that actually tore down this orphanage so he could go over here and then start doing this one for maybe a $500,000 check in the bank. So, and then Bruce Wayne would come in, get some outside capital to come back into here, and by whatever project Bruce Wayne comes in and swoops in and recommends to the people, or maybe he has he has a bunch of resources, which is phenomenal. A lot of people, if not the majority of people, don't have. But that's a good thing. Let's exploit that. Let's use it. So, again, Batman doesn't tear down the entire city. He doesn't tear down the government that's saying, hey, this is right or wrong. You know what? Batman would not care. He would find a way to use the system. But there's also a different aspect of Batman that in other stories, because that's with Bruce Wayne. Batman is a persona that he can go into the city and do the exact opposite Bruce Wayne cannot do. Bruce Wayne is upheld by human laws. but because Batman is a vigilante, he can overcome them, and regardless of whatever rules are passed, he goes out and does it. And that's probably one aspect that he tries to do. Maybe during one of an episode that camaraderies, I'm trying to think of what the word is, commends, highlights, maybe a remembrance episode. Maybe Kate Kane goes to the orphanage that was destroyed and starts researching all the information for her to come back to this next one. And maybe she comes to this second one that was torn down already. And maybe she figures out that this is something that was successful from Batman, but maybe the politician is now going after this building or something. I don't know. It's Terra. There we go. And so maybe it could be a remembrance episode that Kate Kane discovers Bruce Wayne's diary, or maybe is starting to piece all the things together from Bruce Wayne's personal actions, and why Batman is such a very important persona to have, that Kate Kane, here we go, now we're going to be developing something phenomenal. Kate Kane realizing that Batman is the character that Bruce Wayne plays and becomes that overcomes politicians, rules, systems, and simply does what is legitimately moral and good for the betterment of others. If he has to take down a mob, he'll take down the mob. But he'll take down the mob, maybe not the legal way. He'll just make certain they're no longer a situation, not killing them, probably beating them to a pulp, probably dismantling their shoulder out of their socket, probably like backstabbing them with a brick, and be like, haha, you can't walk anymore. But I won't kill you, but suffer 1,000 suns. It's like a pain of 1,000 ages. Just like rips their noggin off their head. But it's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm just going to maim you for life, wishing you were dead. But realizes that the persona, putting on the cowl, is something that Bruce Wayne is able to do as now Batman is able to go into the city and do what Bruce Wayne cannot do. Bruce Wayne goes and does what a businessman would do. He would go out and find venture capitalists to come into the city, and with this one location, he would actually build something. Let's just say, maybe something. It would have to be maybe something that could bring in a bunch of money as well. That's maybe not a casino, but maybe he was trying to build a national park, but because the rules or whatever were going to make certain that it was going to be destroyed, he said, okay, let me change my plan, and let me make certain that this politician that's coming in and trying to destroy everything from the lobbyists and stuff, maybe as Batman, I'll go to the lobbyists and find a way to take them out without without breaking their kneecaps and just finding dirt on them and doing some research. And maybe Bruce Wayne and Batman are kind of like blended together, trying to find all the research and information and doing his homework, and he takes out the lobbyists in a legal way because maybe they were doing a practice that was illegal that he makes known to the public, and he says that all of these lobbyists associated to this company were doing these certain things, and he actually makes it publicly known, and he realizes that the politician that was trying to tear down this place could be something of like, oh, okay, let me distance myself from these people, but it could be too late, and he's actually facing himself on the way out. Again, there's so many things that you could do with this, and I think I put out like 3 or 4 different directions that you could have with this. Now, you could have it where they're all working together, where the politician, who could be a legitimate villain, who's trying to come in and trying to destroy this orphanage or whatever the place is, and pushes himself out of of the connection he has between this lobbyist, and this lobbyist that's way up here. He pushes those people out to make certain that he can stay in office, and then that gets a victory for Batman and Bruce Wayne. But it just sets back the politician who's the bad politician. So the politician who's trying to come in here and destroy a second building. So Bruce Wayne follows the rules, but Batman does not. So let me do that again. Bruce Wayne follows the rules and is above board, but Batman goes around the streets of Gotham doing what is illegal. But he does what is morally correct. Batman is an ends justify the means, except for the morals and principles that he still has as Bruce Wayne. Him as the person who he is. Bruce Wayne is sort of the character that plays above board, but Batman is the one that goes around the streets doing everything that's illegal, but not immoral. There's a big difference there. And it's, yeah. So maybe Batman goes out and starts beating up Antifa. That would be awesome. That would be funny. I would pay to see that. I would, for a 5-minute short of him just beating the living snot out of Antifa thugs. Like, I would love to see that. And again, I know this is going to be problematic for a lot of people, but a lot of Black Lives Matter, not protesters, but rioters have been beating up and stomping on people and there have been shootings. Okay, that sucks. And then going out and punching those people. Maybe not calling them BLM or Antifa or whatever, but it'd be hilarious. So, again, people who harm other people, well, he's going to go out and harm those people. Batman goes out and punches the victims, and he just keeps punching him. It's like, why are you punching me? Because you're weak. You need to learn, and just keeps smashing them. That would be... Oh, no. What would be even funnier is that if Kate Kane, Dawn's Batwoman, for the first time, goes out and starts punching victims, and then is trying to mimic what Batman's doing, but is failing miserably, punching the victim. It's like, why are you punching me? Because you need to learn. Like, get back in the kitchen. He starts smacking a woman up. It's like, you made pot roast dry. It's like, the pot roaster's dry. You need to learn. And just smacking him, like, why the hell are you doing that? This is... It's like Batman is behind the scenes and he's doing a face palm like, what the hell, woman? This is not what I wanted. Batwoman comes back and is like, I did a good job today. And then police sirens come in and arrest her. It's like, oh, yep, you deserve that. Oh, man, I'm just kidding. But I'd love to see some progression where she's maybe trying to figure out what Batman did when he was there. But, trying to fill that gap that has been made because Batman left for whatever legitimate reason it was. Again, I think a great reason would be he's been kidnapped, or he now has amnesia because of a combat or fighting from something. Maybe he's been dehydrated, and from a fall or a stumble he's been taken somewhere trying to be saved, but now he just thinks of himself to be a normal person, and nobody knows who and or where he is. So it's, yeah. So again, you can have a lot of development there. I think that'd be pretty freaking awesome. So I think we did pretty good. One thing that I'm really grateful of where we went with this is, even though we had our objectives, again, at the end of the day, it's to be just a little bit more creative, free-flowing, allow the thought to just keep on percolating, just keep the momentum rolling. While at the beginning of the day, that's where we actually have to build something strategic, specific, and we're going to be doing step by step. Again, just the same thing that we did with here. Maybe having an episode, like here's one episode, here's a second episode, and then, at the beginning of the day, in the real world here, in the morning, is to go and specify each and every single section that actually happens, and then go out and actually try to create it. And then, but for here, it's just brainstorming, trying to make something interesting, something that's, passionate, something that's motivating, something that's very interesting, that captivates the attention. So hopefully I captivated your attention. Hopefully that you've enjoyed everything that happened here. Hopefully that this plot line, this story thing was pretty cool. So a question that'll end off with is, what would be for Batwoman, Kate Kane, what would be a possible episode she would have to that she could go through? What would episode X, not 10 but X, what episode would you want to see here? What type of challenge would you want to have her for her to go through? Does she have a dream episode that she thinks that she is Batwoman, but she actually is legitimately just a Kate Kane? That would be kind of interesting. Now, again, what I mean by interesting is, it's like, I think that is interesting. I think that the reason I was hesitant to, continue on saying how amazing that idea is I can see some people not liking a dream episode where it's like, oh my gosh, I pretended that I was Superman. I woke up and I was not. It's like, oh, that was a payoff that didn't go anywhere. That was a disappointing payoff or something. But I think it would be kind of interesting to maybe have her as Kate Kane and her motivation, or maybe she was tricked and hypnotized and she passed out, not as being a random citizen, and then waking up having had the dream of becoming Batwoman, and she just throughout the next week or two starts doing all the activities to get her suited to becoming a Batwoman, just like the dream that she had. And it's just like planting of the seeds. That'd be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of cool. And something that would be another one that would be kind of cool is maybe you could have the Riddler hypnotize Kate Kane, a random citizen, and from that to become a Batman to challenge, because maybe the Riddler is bored and he needs a citizen. He needs a challenger. No one is meeting his needs and demands. So, and maybe the Riddler could just be this average person. He's probably maybe like 6 foot, 5'11", 6'1", 5'11", tall geek, skinny nerd, glasses, short hair, round circular glasses like Harry Potter's, but a little bit more stylish or something. And you can kind of like anime wise, where you can't see the eyes, you just see the white glare on each of the lens. That'd be kind of cool. And he's just a traditional guy, and then he tries to he hypnotizes a random citizen to becoming a Batman, and that's why and how Batwoman became Batwoman in Gotham. But that wouldn't that counteract what with Riddler wanting to have a puzzle, a challenger? Because if you create your own challenger, it's the only way to be successful is to actually make her more competent than you. You have to fail. But is the Riddler willing and wanting that to even happen? I don't know. No, that's okay. So again, same question is what would be a Batman Batwoman themed story? What would be interesting, or what's interesting to you? That's the most important part. Create a story that you like. It might not be to my liking, but who cares? If you enjoy the process of creating that story, roll with it. Create an idea, create a character, maybe a new villain. Maybe Batman pops in and he saves the day. That's good. Roll with it. If it makes you feel good, go with it. Because the most important part about here is when you're doing storytelling, there are good things and bad things to do. There are better things and worse things to do. But if you're just creating a story for yourself, or for your friends and family, or for those who are or maybe just a few people, or you want to share that idea with others, go for it. There's no wrong idea, but there are better ideas, and we can only get to better ideas until somebody actually has that idea. I'm not saying I got the best ideas. I'm just, here's some ideas that I thoroughly enjoyed. And I actually during this entire episode, this like 1 hour and 23-minute video so far, is I went through this long trail of like where I wanted the story to go. And I kept, during this trail, during this high rise and stuff, I said no to this, yes to this one spot, no to that, and then I took this one, and then I started rolling with it. And again, I had a bunch of ideas, and you just roll with an idea. So again, you'll have good ideas, you'll have bad ideas, you'll have even crappier ideas. I know that's not motivating, but again, it's good to get the crappy ideas out, because that means that you're trying. And if you try again, here's the phenomenal part about what I call the law of comparison. If you have two things that are very similar, you can look at one of them and determine of whether or not it is objectively better. And what happens if you keep trying? You'll figure out what is objectively better, and you just roll with what's better. And that's the amazing part. Just go out there and create something. It doesn't have to be Batman. It doesn't have to be Batwoman. It doesn't have to be the Riddler. It could be any story that you want. That's just one question, one encouragement I wish I could just send out there into the world is go out there and create. And then keep creating. Create something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be story writing the way that I'm doing it. It could be in text form, audio form only. It can be you writing doodles and then showing those doodles to other people and realizing that you're actually a better drawer than most people. It might be, kind of sketchy, silly kind of doodles, but maybe that could work. Maybe the universe, maybe the artistic style, you could roll with that. Maybe you can create a few of his friends or her friends or something. It's like you just develop it that way. So again, go out, create. That's the one. So, and I think I don't know which episode. I think it was the last episode earlier this morning. Is go out there from the World Class Bullshitters YouTube channel. The thing that he says at the very end that I love and it's very endearing is saying, go out and be excellent to each other. Well, one thing that I can sincerely say without ripping him off or copying him, which I'm certain that he's okay with that, is go out there and create something that you enjoy. Make something. Instead of trying to tear something down, instead of being mad about what the world is or what the city state is or politics or the environment or whatever, go out there and make something. Create something. Because when you make something, there's more of that thing for other people to share in. So, yeah, create a city. Create a city that people can actually thoroughly enjoy. Create something. Create a world. Okay. Well, please hit that like. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns right down below. Please hit that like button. The most important thing you can do for this channel is to smash that like button. Actually, the most important thing, you can come back and watch it every single day. But most importantly, out of any and all things, please enjoy your day. Bye.